Hello everyone, welcome to the Mint analysis for 24th March 2022. I have already shared the text analysis on my Telegram group, so in case you want to join it, you can find the link in description. So in today's highlight, we will be seeing how has been the India's vaccination drive so far and what are their prospects in future. So till now, India has vaccinated around it has given around 1.82 billion doses. So actually, you cannot word the use vaccinated because it consists of first dose as well as second dose. So 1.82 billion doses have been given. And now, how it has shaped up. So it started its vaccination drive on 16 January 2021, and it was in a phased manner. So first, the healthcare workers were given the vaccination, and then elderly population, and then the people above the age of 18 years were provided the vaccination. And right now, the vaccination has also been extended to the children of the age group 12 to 14 years. So the vaccination that have been approved till now for all these age groups are, so for adults it's Covishield, Covaxin and Sputnik V for adults, and for children it's Corbevax for 12 to 14 years old children. Now we will see how they are planning to widen the coverage. So they are going to widen the coverage by encouraging more and more people, and how they will encourage it. So once a person takes their first dose, if they reduce the time for their second dose, then that person is more likely to take its second dose. So they are aiming to reduce the time from 12 to 16 weeks to 8 to 16 weeks for the second dose. That's what is there in the plan. Now, how they're preventing the vaccine wastage. So the vaccines that are going to be expired in near future, they are allowing it to be exchanged through their nearby government centers. So these government centers, government vaccination centers, they actually face high number of people turnout when it comes to vaccination because they are free. So these centers can exchange their vials, vaccination vials, at these government centers, and in exchange they will get the newer ones so they can use it, and the government centers will use those soon to be expired vials to provide vaccination to the general public. So now, how did vaccine diplomacy play out? So what were the steps that were being taken by India? So the first one was Vaccine Maitri initiative that was taken by India, and the second was that it made available the COVID platform to the global audience, to the all the countries that we have. So these two steps were taken, and now, right now, the scenario is that people are speculating whether the mixing of vaccinations will be allowed or not. So there are some good points and bad points about it. So if we mix the vaccines, they are saying that we will be having the heterogeneous immunization. So it will be more safe, more effective, and more good in terms of combating the virus. That's their point. But there have been two main challenges. So the first challenge is on health, that the scientific evidence doesn't is not at its place right now. It can have adverse effects on people's health if given an approval at this stage, because you don't have any evidence that it is safe. And the second is that the accountability will be difficult to set up. So if you mix the vials, if you mix the vaccination from two different companies, so you, if something bad happens, then you won't be able to fix who is accountable for this phenomena. So these are the two challenges that will be faced, and that has been the roadmap till now. Now let's move on to the main headlines. First one is SEBI directs 26 FPIs to shut funds in 6 months. So why it is happening? Because in 2014 some new regulations were bring into place. So the older norms required the funds to just register it with the SEBI. So they just had to register with SEBI and then they were good to go. But right now, the new ones want them to register with custodians or depository participants. So this shift in rules is creating a problem for the outside pension funds, insurance funds, or trusts. So all of them are facing problem because of this. And today itself we have seen that, so in this article as well, it is said that Canadian pension funds, trusts and insurers will mostly be affected due to this shift. So in today's news I have seen that from Kotak, the Canadian pension fund was offloading its shares. So they were offloading around 2% of the shares, because maybe because they were not able to comply to this, and that's why they were trading at discount. So because they were offloading the shares at a discounted price, so the Kotak shares were also going to drop today. So that's the news for today. And also in upcoming days, maybe you will see more such cases as these funds, trust, and insurers will offload their shares from the Indian economy. Now, next important news is petrol diesel prices raised by 80 paisa per liter. So yesterday as well, the LPG prices were raised by rupees 50, and petrol diesel prices were raised by 80 paisa. Now it's the second day that again 80 paisa per liter has been raised. Next is Reserve Bank may revise inflation forecast. So here you need to be clear that these are the, you can say, what economists are saying. Nothing is being has been said from the RBI side. So the economists are saying that RBI may revise inflation and they may change their stance to neutral. So in yesterday's newspaper, I have told you there are mainly four stances. Right now, RBI has accommodative stance where it is encouraging money supply and spending, and the other three are: first is hawkish, second dovish, third accommodative, fourth is neutral. In neutral, it doesn't increase or decrease the interest rates, it lets the economy just the way it is. So economists are saying that it will be neutral in the meeting of April or June policy meet. So it's just a speculation right now. And if you want to know more about the other stances, so I will just give you one liner. So in hawkish, you increase the interest rates. In dovish, you decrease the interest rates. In dovish, you decrease the interest rates because you want more liquidity in the market. So that's how the stances are being played. Now, next is India moves exemptions from solar import taxes. So, what happened was that India had put some import taxes on solar energy. So, the things that are used to produce these solar panels. So, the import taxes were such that 40% was the import tax for modules, 25% for cells. This was the framework, and it was done so that it can encourage the domestic manufacturing of solar equipment. This was the main aim. You have seen that this also has happened in the category of defense and as well as in the category of drones. So what happens is, if you take such a sudden step, although it has good aim, but right now companies are not ready and they will need to incur R&D costs to set up such manufacturing units, because of which if the cost increases, then the selling prices also increases, and if the selling price increases, then these companies who are actually going to use their products and use that as a raw material, they will also have an increase in cost, because of which the projects that they already have at its place, they might become unviable. And due to this phenomena, because the import taxes were raised, now their cost will be raised. So some companies approached to the ministry and said that please let us spare us from these import taxes, because we had already get have gotten the approval of the project and it will make the project unviable. So right now Indian ministry is trying to shield some projects from impending taxes that are going to be soon in place. And this phenomena is also seen as a setback to the shift to clean energy, because if people will have to incur more and more cost to shift to solar energy, then they might prefer other sources of energy which are cheap and which are non-renewable in nature, which are not clean. So it is a setback to shift to clean energy. Next is STT mop-up sees 25% increase in this fiscal. So STT is Security Transaction Tax, and I wanted to highlight it here that the transaction tax, the revenues from transaction tax has been increased. But why is it so? Because in 2020 and 2021, you have already seen that the number of retail investors had increased. The firms, the IPOs were getting better valuations. Why? Because people were not getting such kind of rate of return in other investment, for example, commodities, or you can say savings, FDs, etc. But they were finding it here. So due to this, they were putting more and more money in the equities and more trading happened. So as a result, the revenues from STT has also risen. So this indicates the rise in STT by 25% indicates that the markets are robust, and the trade volumes are rising, and there is a buoyancy in the market. So, just a one liner that you should know that STT is levied on purchases and sale of listed securities on the gross consideration. So that's how STT is calculated on. What is the base that is given here? So due to this, the revenue has increased, and it shows why it has happened. And you already had a background; it just needed a connect. So this is the news. Next is Zomato set to scale 10-minute delivery service in top cities. So Zomato has already had seen what is there in the upcoming future. So it noticed that they had a feature. So Zomato has a feature whenever you are going to order your food, that whether you want it from highest discount to lowest discount, how do you want to filter it? Lowest to highest discount, lowest price to highest price, or lowest time delivery to highest time delivery. So they have seen that most of the people apply the filter of lowest time delivery. So they had a vision that in the upcoming future, the 30-minute delivery will go up obsolete, because of which they are now trying to shift to 10-minute delivery service in top cities. So they are first focusing on Delhi NCR, and then they plan to expand to Bengaluru and Mumbai. So in Delhi NCR will be in next 90 days, and then Mumbai and Bengaluru. So they will be serving patties, desserts, snacks, and tea. So these are some of the items that they are aiming right now, because the low average order value that these products provide, and they can be quickly prepared. That is the reason, and it will prevent Zomato from going obsolete, its model from going obsolete. Next is India puts proposal to let local firms list overseas on back burner. So India is not letting local firms to list their shares overseas, and it is a setback for both the investors as well as the companies who were going to list their shares overseas. So this is the second step I have seen in the same newspaper. In the first article, you have seen that India was not allowing pension funds. So because of the change in regulation, around 26, we have read they are banning. 26 FPIs are getting, they will have to exit in 6 months. And this is the second thing, that they are not allowing the local firms to list overseas. So the foreign investors who were looking towards it, that we will be investing in Indian firms, so that we can get advantage of the startups that are there in India and have some extra returns over them. They are facing a setback because they can't do so, because the shares will not be listed in their countries, and it will be difficult for firms as well to arrange the funds. Otherwise they would be more open, and they could have raised more funds. So this is the situation right now, and it is a sudden reversal of policy, because previous year it was said that we want more and more firms to get listed overseas, and that this announcement will be made in February itself, how it is going to take place. However, in March we are seeing that it is a total reversal of what was being said earlier. The reason that is being given right now with no depth is that it is to bolster its own capital market. So India wants to strengthen its own capital market, because of which it is not letting local firms to list overseas. However, I haven't gained much information about it, so I don't know why these steps are being taken. So let's see. Maybe it will be clear in near future. Next is coal supply to aluminium mills at a low. So why is Coal India Limited or any other coals is company is not letting the supply of coal to aluminium mills? It is because they don't want coal shortages, which was previously being faced by the companies, due to which the public may see have adverse effects. So it is prioritizing the general public over industry. So that's why it is not providing this coal to industries, but is saving the this coal for the citizens of its nation. That's why the supply went at a low, and also because of this, industries are suffering, because right now global energy prices are on a rise, and if they import the coal, they will be importing at a higher price, which will again put a pressure on of the cost of the input cost on the companies, and eventually they are going to make costlier products. So this is an adverse effect as well. If you want to safeguard the citizens, then you will have to pay indirectly. So That is the news. Next is, we have already seen this Reserve Bank. However, there are two new points listed here. So economists are saying that there is possible rate hikes. It's just their opinion right now, nothing from RBI side, just to make it clear. And next is that energy prices can remain high for at least a year. And the third thing is that, yesterday we have seen that Shaktikanta Das was saying that it is transitory. So inflation is transitory in nature. However, here the analysts are saying that it is no longer transitory and may soon have an effect on the purchasing power of individual. So it's the difference in opinion by the economist analysts and the RBI. Nestle to stop most of production in Russia. So it is the next company which is abandoning Russia. Around 400 companies had already abandoned Russia, and even Nestle had halted non-essential exports and imports from Russia before. Next is Biden allies aim to project united front. So Biden, along with its European Union allies, are projecting a united front that Russia is not doing right to Ukraine, and it is influencing more and more countries to come with it. And since Mr. Biden has power because he is the president of US, so US is actually gathering more and more countries to project a united front that we are against this step of Russia and we will impose more and more sanction on them. Toyota to buy back $826 million shares. So recently they have faced many disruptions, but still they are fulfilling their promise of repurchasing its shares and still paying. They are trying to pay stable dividends to its shareholders. So the disruptions that they have faced is that their factories have been halted due to cyber attack on one of its suppliers. This was the first disruption. Second is powerful earthquake in Japan, and third is the COVID outbreak that they faced in China. So all because of all these things, their share prices are going low. They are facing disruptions. However, they are repurchasing and they are aiming to pay stable dividends. So in this newspaper, this is all. But apart from this, there is one more news about the Z Sony merger. So in yesterday's newspaper, we have seen that Invesco was not ready and they wanted an EGM so that they can pull down Puneet Goenka from his position. However, seeing the benefits of Sony and Z merger, they are saying that we are totally okay with it and we want this deal to happen. So if this deal to happen, Puneet Goenka will need to be the director and they are okay with it. And maybe so right now EGM is totally out of picture. They are totally okay with it. Now in the upcoming future, we can see that after the Sony-Zee merger, they can actually appoint some new directors through some options that are available for them. Maybe because of it, they totally discarded the option of holding an EGM and then pulling down Puneet Goenka from his position. So that's the current news, because of which it was expected that the shares of Z will go up. So that's all we have in today's newspaper. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. For joining my Telegram group, you will find the link in description. Thank you so much.